Maddie and Patrick Gergen, thanks for joining me on Facebook Live and YouTube. By the way, we're going out in all sorts of different directions.
Hi, Patrick. Thanks for having us today.
Okay, we've got you both online. That's fantastic. So, I want to talk about, you're going to be speaking at the R4 conference that's coming up in less than 10 days, or about 10 days, I guess it is. I've lost track. But, one of the things that you've become known for as a trusted partner is, providing opportunities for investors to look outside of Canada in the multifamily space. Hence the name of your company, American Alliance Group. So tell us a little bit about what's going on. Why the US, and particularly why Texas? Now, I know that's a big question, but let's just kind of start to unpack it a little bit.
Okay, well, I guess with Texas specifically, there's a lot of reasons why we've been investing in Texas over the last 12 years, but it's just a really strong economy, tons of job growth, a lot of immigration coming in, businesses moving in. And even in this economy, we're still seeing, really strong job growth and consumer confidence, really. People are a little anxious, but there's still a lot of confidence in the market. So, and with the increase of interest rates, we're still finding that it's now heading in the right direction. So
you've got a lot of Canadians that are moving capital to the US, through work with you, for example. And, when we look at what's happening in Canada, we see, this huge demand side of the equation because of immigration. We talk about that a lot, interprovincial migration, immigration into the country, and then a very low supply. Is Texas facing similar kind of headwinds? What's driving it on the, have you got that, low supply, high demand, Patrick? Is that a question that I can maybe put to you in terms of, we know that when we have that rental demand because of immigration or population growth, rents go up. Of course, that improves on all things, especially multifamily investing. Give me a little bit of insights into the demand and supply side of it.
Okay, yeah, you bet. And so the answer, really it's a little bit yes, a little bit no. So when you're looking at, say, for instance, new construction, they're having a little bit of a challenge because the occupancy rate on new construction is going down a little bit. There's more units coming on and they're not being absorbed at the same level. But with that said, Maddie and I are just in a beautiful sweet spot deliberately. We're in the workforce housing space. When you're looking at the workforce housing space, the really cool part about it, I know we've said this in the past, but it's so cliche, but it's kind of true. How do you get workforce housing? Well, you build a property and you wait 40 to 50 years, and then you have your workforce housing. They're just not building enough of it. And so we're in a great space where the occupancies are really staying there. The demand continues. And as Maddie said, with Texas, certainly when you compare all 50 states being one of the winners, the net migration continues to flow into the state of Texas.
And just to add to that, Patrick, home ownership, is getting more and more out of reach. And so younger folks are looking more to rent now. And that's kind of a trend that we're seeing and we're expecting to continue in the future.
I know you're going to be talking a lot at the R4 conference about what you've got going on, how to invest in the US, and actually even how to kind of do the multifamily game, because that's become very popular in Canada as well. And, that's because of, the opportunity to get into multifamily because of that demand. I mean, demand's higher, I think, than it's been in a number of years. But when you go, if I'm an investor working with American, I'm sure there's a question of like, how do you justify the exchange of US to Canadian dollars? Is that a question you get asked? I mean, for me, that would be a question I ask. So how do I kind of get flat with that when I'm looking at ROI, et cetera?
Well, what we tell investors is yes, there is a delta between the two. However, you also get cash flow, and if there's a refinance or anything, it also comes back in U.S. dollars. So
Mm,
so you do get paid in U.S. dollars as well.
yeah.
We don't really play the monetary game and whatnot. We've had significant returns over, the last 12 years for our investors. And so it's not something that we focus on too much because of the strong returns that we've been able to bring in from the U.S.
Well, I think it's interesting too. You make a good point. You get paid in U.S. dollars, of course. It's a good reminder. Of course, that makes total sense. And you have to, there's going to be those times where, we see what's happening on the geopolitical side of things. We see the American dollar maybe rising, then coming down. But one thing we know for certain is it's rare conditions where we see the Canadian dollar get too much into taking over the U.S. side of things. There's always that delta that seems to be in the favor of going from U.S. into Canadian bank accounts as well. So there's certainly a good balance there. Now, at the R4 conference specifically, what are you going to kind of dig into and point out to people?
So the nice thing is, and this is for everybody, that's listening now, that's going to get there. My goodness, this is the time to get active. This economy, there's a lot of chaos in the economy, and it's just making a lot of people nervous, and they should be nervous. I don't know if I can say this, but Patrick, I'm gonna use that word, naked. There's absolutely some people that have been swimming naked, and the tide has gone out. Mm-hmm. And where there maybe were 15, 20 buyers, now there's a lesser amount. The beautiful part about it is most of the people that are the amateurs are the ones that are nervous. They're staying aside. And so we're going to encourage everybody, continue to educate yourself, become informed, because there's some great deals coming out there as long as you've got the right strategy. If your strategy is to head west and you're going east, well, it's not going to work so well. So you certainly have to have the right strategy, but there's absolutely beautiful opportunities in this marketplace to make some great plays. And we're going to show everybody how to do that at the conference coming up. I know Patrick might have froze just a little bit. Patrick, can you hear me okay? I want to make sure I'm covering everything. I'm going to keep talking just a little bit until he comes back, because our host has left us.
Patrick, if you want, I can give a little bit of information on more about what we're going to talk about at the conference coming up while Patrick jumps in again. But we're gonna be talking about where we feel the economy is right now, where the Texas economy is headed, and what adjustments need to be made based on where this economy is headed, and then also what types of opportunities there are going to be coming into this market. So we're super excited about being able to do that.
Yeah, and and like Maddie said before, like if you're looking at that delta between what you're going to pay for a mortgage, if you're going to buy a house, and what you're going to pay for rent, it just keeps getting bigger. So as rents have continued to rise, they haven't risen at that same level that mortgage rates have continued to drive the mortgage. So you got your mortgage, that delta now nationally across the United States, like $905. So when you look at that gap, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, meaning that it's becoming more difficult to be able to buy a house. And when you have a situation where it's more difficult to buy, of course, people are going to rent. And so the demand for apartments is getting better and better. And there's certainly some choppiness in the economy, but I hate saying this, but the Federal Reserve has actually done a pretty decent job of taming that. And so the inflation is going in the right direction. So it really is a great opportunity to be a net buyer in the year 2023, provided, maybe Maddie, you could talk about it a little bit, provided that your underwriting is conservative.
Yes, definitely need conservative underwriting. There's a few adjustments that need to be made as we move forward in this market. So financing strategies are something that Patrick and I have been needing to to really look at and make some, decisions on as the market moves forward. Our business model, used to be more 10 years-ish, 7 to 10 year plan. And now, we're doing a forced value add plan, which is a 3 to 5 year plan. So, we need to, we need to adjust on some areas, but, where, as far as the economy and where is it headed, we're seeing some softening. Prices are falling, which is huge opportunity as well in the future. We're seeing more distressed deals, friendlier buying terms. So, where you used to have, 30 competitors, now we're seeing 3 competitors. So that's significantly decreased, and we look at that as going to be super helpful with buying properties coming up here in the future. You're still having to put hard money down in Texas right now, but it's a lot less hard money down with a lot less competition. And we're seeing better pricing, and so we're kind of expecting with interest rates that things are going to level off in 2023, and then probably start to decline in 2024. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, we are. And even if the interest rates really don't go down in 2024, again, we're underwriting conservatively. The nice thing about being in REIN, I mean, when you look at the different things and the different people that Patrick and JG put on, they're always right at the forefront, giving all of you the most latest information about which way the economy is going. So really, we want you to come to this conference, stay tuned, and then just be ready to really learn, because as long as you've got that right strategy, there really are some great opportunities that are coming out there. Because although, like Maddie said, yeah, there's some distress in the market, we can tell you we're not stressed, and we're continuing to hand out our distributions quarterly. So it's be conservative. Don't go for the home run. I always refer everything into like baseball. And I always say, games are won not by home run plays, but they're won by getting people on base. And so when you're looking for those deals, don't look for the home run. Look for the first and second base hits. Be conservative, stay active. And if you keep your eyes wide open, you're going to find that there's some great opportunities that are going to come out there. When we have the conference, we're certainly going to get a lot more granular, and we're going to give you slides, get very specific on certain things to look for, but just can't say enough how there's some great opportunities coming on. And we're really excited to be at that forefront with you. And we're going to show you what's working for us. And we're also going to show you what we're being very cautious about.
Yeah, so we're excited for the conference, and I was hoping that Patrick was going to be able to come back on here, but technology, it's your best friend and your worst enemy. So
yeah, it really can be.
Yeah. So hopefully we're answering all the questions.
Yeah. I don't know. And then I think maybe, Maddie, what would you say if we just kind of segue just for a little bit, because, we don't want to talk too much about the economy without slides and without different things to back it up. But maybe we could talk just a little bit about mindset, because some of the things that, that Maddie and I will continue to say is strategy is important, and you got to have a great business plan. But, you really, everything begins with your mindset. And so part of your mindset is, you always want to be a lifelong learner. That's what Maddie and I continue to say. And when you're a lifelong learner, you're open to new ideas. You're open to the economy changing. You're continuing to educate yourself. And it just goes a long ways. We're big believers in getting education. So part of our education is like through Tony Robbins and certainly many other people. But it really helps you get in that mindset of growth and being able to really learn things. So don't devalue all of the different things that you need on your wagon wheel to really become successful. It's not just about strategy. That's one part. But if you're drawing the wagon wheel, and you've got it like this, and maybe you've got like a big giant divot, because within your divot, you have, I don't know, it could be that you just don't want to read books. If you don't want to read books, that's going to definitely be a disadvantage for you. And when I mean read books, certainly you could listen to podcasts and different things like that. It makes a huge difference. But to really get that wagon wheel to continue to just roll down the hill, you want to have that balance, and it's mindset, it's strategy, it's your network. So you want to be very involved, again, with people like Rain, Patrick, and JG. I don't know, Maddie, do you want to add anything to the wagon wheel approach?
Well, I was just going to say that for me, it's audiobooks. So I love listening to audiobooks. Patrick's more he likes to have his book in front of him so he can write notes, and I write notes in my phone, but I like listening to audio. So yeah, there's just, a lot of great ways to learn nowadays and to be able to progress. And definitely Rain being one of them, because they always have so much valuable information. I've actually been a Rain member for 20 years now. So it's been a long time, and it's been an amazing experience and super helpful as far as moving my business forward through the years. And so you're in the right place for sure.
Yeah, and I just received a text from Patrick. He said that his internet has in fact crashed, so he sent us a text. So we're going to finish this off in the next 30 seconds, and then we're going to sign off. So I just want to kind of reiterate what Maddie said. She had education through Rain. My goodness, just like 2 decades. Part of the reason that I was so attracted to Maddie on the business level is because she continued to push herself and stay active with groups like Rain. Like her, myself, I've been able to get my education in different ways as well. And it's a big part of being in that network around like a mastermind, a group of people where you support each other and you're able to get things done. So again, we look forward to seeing you guys at the conference. We're going to do everything we can to make this a big success. Whenever we're speaking now, we always visualize ourselves what it was like when we were in the audience, like many of you. And we really are going to do our best to make sure that you've got some great golden nuggets to take away. So we will talk with you guys later. It was really nice, and we look forward to seeing you coming up. Okay, bye,
Thank you, guys. See you soon.